My next guest is one of the GOP lawmakers who want more information. Florida Congressman Michael Waltz now joins me. So, Congressman Waltz, I want to remind everybody your military service. We are grateful for that. It gives you unique perspective, I think, in terms of looking at what's going on. You've taken orders from the Pentagon before. Why is this happening? Why are those troops still there?
You know, Harris, every military member, every mission that I've ever been on, and I'm still serving in the National Guard, you have a clear mission, you have a task and purpose, and you understand the very nature of the threat. So the question that we're asking is, what is the specific threat? What group? What's the size of it? What are its capabilities that requires us to have more soldiers sitting in a few square blocks on our capital than we have in all of Iraq and Afghanistan combined? That's the size of the force that's sitting in our capital. And I hear repeatedly that there's some chatter out there. We have a vague statement from the Department of Homeland Security. Buried within that, though, it says there is no specific, credible, actual threat. So what is this army or this horde that is imminently coming over the horizon that we have to have a brigade-size element defending our capital? That's one question. And the other question, Harris, is then how are they being used? What's the mission analysis that's going on here? Because right now we literally have soldiers standing shoulder to shoulder in the middle of the night in the cold, staring at a fence. There's lots of other things that if there's some kind of potential threat, that even if it's not specific, then you have a quick reaction force that can perhaps go help the law enforcement. But this, one has to wonder if Speaker Pelosi or others lights the optic, particularly as they move through an impeachment trial, that we need the United States military there to defend our capital against this kind of unspecified thing out there going forward. And we demand answers. I mean, we should all know, if the threat is that specific and that real.
I was just going to say, I mean, I understand if they don't want to panic a public, but if there's any specificity that one place over the other is a target, we know the difference between hard and soft targets. But if they really think it's the U.S. Capitol, that people are still working there. Like, and our troops, by the way, when you talk about that mission analysis, I'm curious to see when you're going to get that. I know you've made some demands, you want answers, because that's a slippery slope. These are the ones we can see. What about the ones that get sent places like yourself where the public can't see? Mission analysis is critical. Real quick last thought.
Well, no, the other piece is we have to remind ourselves they aren't active duty. These are citizen soldiers. They were pulled from their jobs, from their lives, from their businesses. Many of them I've talked to are single parents. They expected to find something for their kids just for a few days. Now it's months. And the other thing, Harris, is the Guard has been worn out, the National Guard, over the last year, from COVID, from vaccines, from natural disasters, hurricanes and wildfires, social unrest, and they still have overseas deployments requirements on top of their day jobs. We have to keep that in mind, and they shouldn't be used as a prop. They should be used as an option of absolute last resort. And if we want to fund law enforcement, that should be the first line, not this easy button for the National Guard.
Meanwhile, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez yesterday went after her Republican colleagues in the House, accusing Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy of failing to tamp down extremism inside his own caucus. Watch this.
It really felt that last term, the Republican caucus was one of extreme fealty to Donald Trump. There were some that were true believers. This term, there are legitimate white supremacist sympathizers that sit at the heart and at the core of the Republican caucus in the House of Representatives.
Congressman, your reaction?
Well, that's just insulting and it's baseless, and she knows it. This is about getting clicks, and this is about getting time on TV. I will say, look, I've received death threats. A number of members, I think many members are receiving them, and for some of our members who want to be able to protect themselves in keeping with their Second Amendment rights, is perfectly and absolutely acceptable. She may disagree. That's her right to disagree. But this is what the left does. We can't have disagreements on the Constitution, on our interpretation of the Constitution and the law, without them going right to character attacks and personal smears and associating people with extremist groups. And it's just it's a sad state of our politics, and she's furthering it, and she knows it.
It's interesting. Inauguration speech, President Joe Biden talked about that uncivil situation that we're in right now. Uncivil. Okay, good to see you. Next time, Congressman Mike Waltz. Appreciate it.
All right, Harris, I salute you. Take care.